when you click the connection, and I'll show you the example which I just made. So this is I had made a few demos before. And so this is this one is the connections that I'm going to show you briefly. And what I will show you here is you can see, let me just click the edit. When you are trying to add, make a new connection to your data set in BigQuery, this is what you will have to do. Just providing some of the example, some of the data points, such as the name of your data set, your project ID. Actually, this is the same of this is the name of the Looker component or the Looker domain that you're going to work on, and then your project ID in BigQuery, the data set, which in this case the game, which I had to show you about the BQML, and then with a couple of attributes that you have to fill in, you can take most of the stuff as default and just make a quick connections. You can even do a quick test connections. In this case, you can update your connection if you get a new key for the service account that I mentioned before, and then you can make a connections. Once you have the connection made, then what you will do is you will go to this Develop tab, and you can turn on the development mode. And in this development mode, you will find let me just find the Looker. Let's see if I can find the Looker page. You can see a lot of people are actually doing this. Okay, so here is what I had developed before. So again, I actually have to update my my Git access, and this is what you're seeing here. When I'm in the development mode, I'm connecting to my Git. In this case, again, I need to update it. But this is what I put it into the README into Git, and this is what I called Looker BQ game, and this repository is dedicated to the gaming dashboard for Looker. So what you will see here is there are three main things. One is obviously the README, and then the model and the views. Within the model, as a developer or the data model governor, or being a data modeler sitting in the middle layer to have the ability to govern what kind of data you wanted to expose to your end users. You can actually do a lot of things, and or you don't have to do a lot of things. You can just use the default setting, which basically just once you make the connections, it already connects you directly to BigQuery. And within this model, you will see different tables that you have in BigQuery, and you can decide how often you want the dashboard to refresh, and you can decide what kind of tables you wanted to do the exploration. So that's the model. And then the views. So now you will see different views. Actually, those views are the table that you will see in BigQueries. And so so within the view, let's just take a look at the events. So in the events, what you are seeing here are actually different columns in BigQuery, and in the Looker, we call it dimension. So each column is a dimension. And besides the dimension, within Looker, by default, it gives you a measure called counts. So at least without doing anything, you get to know the counts based on the dimension. And in this case, as a developer, I added another measure called count distinct players, right? So this is something that you can also do. And So I show you the model, I show you the views, different dimensions, columns, and the measures. Now, fast forward to the Explorer. So if you go to the Explorer, and if you, in this case, because we have many Explorers, so it would be easier for me to go to my Explorer. So this is my Explorer that I have built before. So when you're in this Explorer, remember that two things that you need to remember from the previous slide. The most important one is the Explore. Explore allows people to do drag and drop. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, if you look at what I have here, I have events. And what I can do is I can choose one of the measure that is given. I can say, okay, I want to know the counts. And based on what dimension, I would say I want to do, say, players, right? And then I will say, and then in this case, you can just run it. And if that takes time. So this immediately will show you the results. And you can quickly visualize by going to the visualization tab. Now, if I don't want to do, and you can actually pivot, right? So in this case, because of the time, I'm not going to show you some of the cool details. But what you can do is, let's say, if you wanted to look at the game server and you want to pivot, you can do the pivot data by clicking this little arrows here. You can also do based on different time. Let's say if I wanted to look at different time points, what's good about Looker is it actually change your datetime columns in BigQuery by allowing you to just select different weeks. Let's say if I wanted to know a number of players at different weeks, I can just select the weeks and I can pivot the week, pivot by week, right? Okay, so then afterwards, after you do this, so this is just a couple of examples. And then you can do the saving, and then you can shift over to the emails, which I can show you of the previous look that I had just built. This is just another example that I saved before. You can do the save from your previous slide here. One of this, I have to exit the develop mode. Let's say, I check in my code and now I can exit it, and then you can save it. Once you save it, you will be able to come here, and then you will be able to send it over. Say, now I'm scheduling it to send it to my email, and I can show you that you can edit by clicking that wheel, and then you can select, from different tools. In this case, I can, I choose the email and I send it to my email account here, and I decided to send the visualization instead of the data table, and I do it repeatedly. I do hourly. So when I do this, when I click save, you can actually do a test send. What you will see here is, let me see if I can share my screen separately.
Hi, sorry, Min. We
Yes.
almost 11 o'clock already.
Okay. All right. That's fine. So that's okay. Then let me just not to let me just show the rest of the stuff very quickly, and then Let me just share it again. Perhaps you can just take my word for it. So once you do this, what you will see is in your mailbox, you will get the email, and then from that email you will be able to explore from there. However, if you're not authenticated as Looker user, you will not be able to do the exploration, but you will see the dashboard. So you just have to take my word for it. What I'm showing you here is different settings. As the administrator, you were able to allow users to access either your dashboard or underlying data to do their own dashboard manipulation. And so, so that's just one example. And the last thing I wanted to show you this is after, probably I built this complete dashboard within an hour. One of the stuff that I show you is, was some of the data based on the data type. So you can actually build this tile, send it to the email, or you can continue to build this kind of tiles and make a whole dashboard. And in this dashboard, for example, you can set the alert. For example, this alert, what I did was whenever the total number of players counts is greater than 5,000, make a color change. And I make a color change as yellow so that if you have someone doing the dashboard monitor visually, then the person knows what actions that needs to take. You can also make it send it to the email so that, or either through emails or through pages or any other tools to alert your operators to take actions. And so this is really important because then based on the stress test, before you launch to a new game or launch to your COVID-19 related application, you know what kind of capacity or maximum capacity that you will be facing. So by seeing this or by setting this alert, you will be able to take the action beforehand. And so the other thing that I wanted to show you is, like for example, remember the machine learning model that I had just built, which is a k-mean model that categorized the players into 5 categories. This is something that you can also show on your dashboard so that you know how many or the percentage each cluster contains within a big pie. And so I think, I think this is something that I just wanted to let you know what you can do. I mean, there are a lot of features that you can do with Looker, and this is just one example. And I understand that the time is very limited. Initially, I was actually planning to have this entire session to be an hour and 40 minutes. I'm sorry that we're kind of like running out of the time, but there are a lot of things that we can play around with Lookers. So hopefully you get some idea, what BigQuery can do from a data warehouse and even modern and secure analytic platform perspective, as well as Looker being not only a dashboard, but a business BI platform. Hopefully you got some idea in the past hour and a half, and you'll be interested. So again, thanks for your attention for the past hour and a half.